Heyo! Welcome back to my channel. Those of you who don't know me, I am Danny. I am the artist, all-around creative, and small business owner behind the Peaceful Muser. This is Create Your Peace, episode 1. Happy Monday, friends, and good morning. It is 9:33. Trying to sneak this in before work starts. We'll see if I finish. So the first segment that I'm going to do in these is what I'm going to call life shenanigans, or maybe just shenanigans. There's another podcaster that I watch called The Fat Squirrel Speaks, and she does shenanigans too. And I don't want to be like, oh, I'm taking that from her, but she's 1,000,000% right, and that's what it's called. So we might go for it, and I'll just thank her profusely every single time because she is a queen. Anyway, life shenanigans. So last weekend, so not this immediate past Saturday, but the Saturday before, so May 9th, I did my first outdoor market of the year, the Kent Flea and Maker Market in Kent, Ohio. And I did it a couple times last year, and I had mixed results last year, but this first outing for 2026 went a lot smoother and overall a lot better for me. Last year I had started the business fully, and I was like, okay, I've got my products and people are just going to immediately know what I'm doing. And that's not the case, and it's really never the case. Like, unless you're selling like soap, something that every human uses on a daily basis, you're going to have to guide people. It's just kind of how it is. And with what I do and how I do my thing, how I tend to move through life, I need explanation. It's just kind of comes with the territory of being an ADHD autistic woman, or neurodivergent in general, regardless of your gender or whatever. And so, last year I had stuff, and this year, with the development that I've done with that stuff, I feel like I have more well-rounded, thought-out products for people. Last year I had done a lot of illustrations for the Sounds of the Soul collection that I've been working on. And, I had made pins and magnets and coloring book pages and things like that with it. I had started developing the concept of the Doodle books and what I initially had called kindness cards. And now those things have evolved into turning my illustrations into painting kits, whether that's pins that's part of a painting kit or like a small wall plaque, like hanging thing, which also, with that, once I started down the painting kit route, I was like, okay, well, this still needs further explanation for people because when you buy a painting kit, mass manufactured painting kit, mind you, from like a Michael's or RIP Joann's, Hobby Lobby, there's some kind of instructions with it. How basic it is depends on the kit you get, but there's some kind of instruction, there's some kind of guidance. So I was like, part of my whole why behind doing this business is I want to teach people that want to learn. I want to help cultivate creative practice in others so that it can help them, and I was like, okay, so how am I going to do this set of instructions? Well, friends, I also, over the last 6 months or so, have gotten really interested in and into making zines, which if you don't know what a zine is, it's not just a mini magazine. Like, the first thing that comes to mind is, it's a tiny magazine, which it is, but there's more to it than that. I'm not going to go into the whole history of zines in this podcast episode. If you'd like me to do a separate video, let me know in the comments. because I could certainly deep dive on this for a hot minute. But zines have had many iterations, and in their current modern form, they have several different functions. They work as a mini magazine where people are sharing their own thoughts, ideas, opinions on different topics. Some are more political or activist related. Some are like mine, just like creative reference guides is kind of what I'm aiming for with mine. But also, you know, it's a modern form of self-publishing in a time where it feels like the millionaire overlords, the Amazons of the world have really just taken away our autonomy for being able to do those kinds of things. Gatekeeping, you know, keeping certain markets closed for certain things and stuff like that. So it's really more about being a self-publishing route than anything else. So I wrote a zine. I wrote I love it so much. Well, I wrote one for the painting kits, like a freestyle painting kit guide. Because like when I turned them into kits, I didn't turn them into paint by numbers kit. Like I didn't do the whole numbering system thing because I like the idea of paint by numbers kits, but for me, they are almost too rigid. I like the guidance, but at the same time, and this is not going to be true for everybody, but I'm certain that I'm not alone in this. They're kind of stressful. So I like them, but I also don't like them at the same time. So mine are more of a freestyle painting kit. You know, there's no number guide to go by. I give a 6-pot paint palette. Say that 6 times fast. In the kit, obviously the actual art piece itself, a set of 3 paintbrushes, varying sizes needed to complete the piece, and then the reference guide for the freestyle painting kit itself. For the zines, because this is what I've turned the Doodle books into, because really, after I started working with them more myself and learning more about zines, I'm like, that's really what this is. These are mini zine blanks that are basically an open canvas where you do whatever you want with. Now, of course, I make them out of scrapbook paper still. So there's like a texture, a pattern base to still kind of like guide you, inspire you into different directions, you know, whatever the paper is speaking to you. But I still quite enjoyed using them to doodle in. They're great for scrapbooking because, I mean, come on, what they're made out of. Yeah, I've made a couple that I'm gonna hopefully post some shorts, reels of soon because I'm realizing I didn't do that yet. But yeah, I wanted to do that with them. And so I wrote the Muser's Guide. No. Yeah, the Muser's Guide for Zine Making. So I made a zine making zine. And the meta-ness of that makes me giggle inside, and I love it so much. So yeah, and since then also I've done a crochet reference guide, a knitting reference guide, and also trying to branch out from textile crafts. A houseplant guide, because I do love my houseplants, and I am not the queen of keeping them alive. I will fully admit that. And I don't know everything. I don't know everything about anything, really. I'm a Jane of all trades is probably what you would really call me. But I know enough to be dangerous. I know how you're supposed to do the thing, but do I always do the thing? No. But so I made one for that, and it was super fun. And I also, you know, learned a couple things along the way of making it myself. So that also to me is the fun part about making these reference zines. I digress. So you get the idea. I took the stuff that I had last year and made them into functional products for what I was intending them to be in the first place. it just took my brain a little bit tough time to get there, as she does. Things have to simmer. You know, like a stew or something like that. It's like I gotta simmer back there for a while sometimes, before they reach their true form. But yeah, so overall the market was really great. The weather was sketchy going into the weekend, not gonna lie. Like Friday, I was watching it constantly for like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday last week, or the previous week, because there was no rain, and then it was going to be raining overnight the night before, and then Friday morning, it looked like it was going to just be nasty all day, and I was like, oh God, no, please no. Firstly, because like I really needed a good market. The very first one I did this year, God love the organizer. She did a great job, and by rights, it should have been good. No one showed up. Like, when I say there might have been 100 people that walked through that thing in the, I don't know, 6 hours I was there, it was bad. Oh, and we're back. It's now the evening time. My camera died. I feel official now. I don't know why, but I do. And I totally did not wrap up before work started, but I knew I wouldn't. I talked too much. Editing Danny here. 2 things. One, I decided to stop editing out all of my ums because I'm lazy. I have very little attention span for editing, as it turns out, and also I kind of want to see my progress as I slowly get better at this YouTube thing. So I'm gonna leave them in, and if they annoy you, I'm sorry. But that's just that's who I am right now. Is I say a lot because I'm thinking of what I'm trying to say next. And for me, that's a lot. So that's why there's a few, but we'll get better. We'll get better eventually. And I was trying something with the mic in the second half of, instead of having it on my person, attaching it to the tripod, which was fairly close to me. And I feel like it was still clear audio. Again, I'm going to try to also not mumble as much, but it is what it is. And also, I turned the volume up on the video to kind of compensate. So I believe it's fairly similar to the first part. Again, we're learning. Bear with. Love you guys. I believe the last thing that I was saying was that first market I went to this year, which was an indoor market. To be fair, I'm not crazy. In February, I did not go to an outdoor market, but like I said, it just, it should have been good. It wasn't. It was a bummer, y'all. It was a bummer. So I was really hoping that previous Saturday was going to be really good, at least positive, And so, like I said, I was tracking the weather, and Friday morning, it was looking real sketchy. Friday night, though, the rain had moved back into Friday, overnight into Saturday, heavy, but it was supposed to stop raining well before the start time of the market. So, and like temperature-wise, it was going to be low 60s, and like kind of probably cloudy still, but better than raining, right? And of course, it's a rain or shine event, so you go and you hope for the best. And it turned out to be a very, very lovely day. My booth neighbors were fabulous. The lady next to me made dog cookies. When she first started unpacking, I got excited because I saw icing, but luckily it was not for humans, it was for the doggies, so I was not in danger. And we don't have any immediate dogs in our life that I can like buy treats for, so my wallet was also not in danger from that. The guy and his wife on the other side of me He was a fabulous scrap metal artist. He takes antique or vintage tools that no longer have a useful life, and he purposes them and fashions them into various different things. The main thing that he was doing the most of was what he called shovel heads. He would take old shovel heads, bottom, like spade parts of shovels, and he would make faces on them from the various tools and stuff. And y'all, they were so epic. So epic. I am gonna try to remember to put some pictures in here somewhere. So you can see, because sweet Lord, they were amazing. And there was a whole bunch of other stuff that he did that was really cool. These things that they called fish sticks. Fish sticks. I love cute names. I think that's pretty apparent by how I name stuff, but it was freaking adorable. They were made out of wrenches, guys, and they were painted beautiful colors. I wanted all of them. And I'm a little surprised my mom wasn't like, "Oh, get me those," but she likes to see stuff in person before she buys stuff. But I digress. So, you know, booth partners were fabulous. The weather got very nice. I want to say by like 11, the market started at 10. I got there at 8:45 to set up. By about 11, there was no sign of precipitation whatsoever, and the sun was starting to peek out. And off and on throughout the day, there were bouts of like solid sunshine, and then we had a little cloudiness, and then sunshine would come back out. It was very nice, and the crowd was fabulous. Everyone, you could tell, were just so excited to be outside for the first time for the year. And so it was a good show. You know, I made my table back. You know, I was excited. I had done this market a couple times last year, and I was still learning with my products, stuff, you know, and everything, all that. But this was the first time I made my table back, and then a little teeny bit more. So I was very excited and what's the word I want? I was very excited and motivated by that. And also, like, a couple of things that I sold are ones that I always sell, like the Little Ripples note cards, used to be called kindness cards. Those never fail to at least sell a couple of. I love them because they're tiny and they're just dang useful. And I could not be happier that other people love them so much too. They're just so cute and they're fun to make. They're fun to use. I love them so much. Anyway, backing up. What I sold too was I sold a project bag, which was a first. We'd have at any market, but especially this one, and also a tool roll, which again, a first. So it was very exciting, and a lot of people had a lot of interest in the other stuff that I had. You know, I just need to increase my variability in designs, is all, which I'm in the works of doing right now for my next couple markets. But I was still kind of testing the waters on a couple things, so, you know, I kept myself from going super ham. If you know me, you know that's what I do, usually. But I was very good, and I didn't over create on designs. I didn't take 500 pieces with me. You know, I'm trying to get better at not letting my overly excited ADHD part of my brain be like, okay, we got the green light. Go, 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 go. We're going to make all the things. I need to not do that. I feel much better when I don't do that, but y'all, it's hard, especially when you get so many ideas. But I've picked out like 3 of those ideas to immediately try to implement at the next market. I've still got the other one saved. I picked 3, which still might be ambitious to have finished before June, but we'll see how many we have. Even if there's one more, it's still better than not having any new ones. But that's going to be the next step, is expanding the range of designs within the product sets that I have come up with. Which, let me check my, oh no, where did I go? Let me check my show notes, because I'm trying to do show notes. I think that's going to lead me nicely into yes, whips. Okay, well, real quick first. Others in the market, obviously we had Mother's Day. It was Mother's Day weekend, and whenever I have a market weekend, I'm kind of down for the count then for like another day or so, because I love doing them very much. They do take a lot out of me, so I need some days to recover before I can fully be myself again. It not only takes that out of me physically, but mentally, emotionally, there's a lot to do, and my brain needs a minute. But yeah, so it was Mother's Day weekend. We did the stuff with my mother-in-law the weekend before. And so I was kind of a bad daughter, and I didn't get to see my mommy that weekend. I also kind of had to do a rain check on her birthday. I had already taken off the next Monday as like a rest day, because I'm trying to be better at implementing those for myself when I know ahead of time I'm going to need one. I already taken a vacation day from work for that, because the girl does have a full-time job. And I thought to myself afterwards, like, I was still very tired on Sunday and stuff, but like I tried to only do what I absolutely needed to, and otherwise just really rest. And when I say rest, I mean like physically, yeah, I don't want to move. But I still have, laundry, all that kind of stuff. Like there's still things I need to do. So like I did what I had to do, but otherwise I really didn't want to move most of the day. And like, not doing anything super mentally strenuous, giving my mind a break, my brain a break. And yeah, kind of going not off the grid. Radio silent. I don't know. Radio silent. I just didn't really talk to anybody on Sunday. That's what I needed to do. But I was like, hey, I have Monday off. I can still do a lot of resting on Monday. And at the same time, if mom isn't busy because she's retired, but she stays busy. she's one of those. If she's not busy, maybe I could like take her out to lunch. We could go to the local nursery, and she could pick out her Mother's Day plant, and we could run some errands together, just have like a little mini, girls outing or whatever. And so I brought that up to her, and she was like, I'm totally free. She's like, yes, that would be awesome. So we did that, and it was very nice. It was lovely. But yeah, that's kind of just, otherwise not a whole lot has really happened life-wise lately. My life is relatively boring, unless sans all the newer sparkly stuff. And we're just kind of quiet people. We don't do a ton of stuff. That's how we are. We're kind of like hobbits. So that's life stuff. But now that leads me into whips. So I always have a billion whips, but what I'm trying to narrow it down. I'm trying to narrow it down for us. Bags and socks. I'm very much in my bag era. I've always been in a bag era, but I'm very much in a making bags era, which I don't see going away anytime soon. So, if y'all like bags. The ones, I'll show you the whips first. I should probably do the FOs first. It might make more sense, but we're gonna do whips first. So, the ones that Technically, these two are still up, so I did not finish the ends yet, but I just finished these this past week, and hopefully it's not going to try to pick up my face. There's one bean, and then it's the same style, just using different yarns. These self-striping ones do some really cool things, but I love how these gradient ones kind of does a really fun light effect. I'm very happy with how these handles have been turning out. They feel very sturdy, but it's not like either, but they keep their shape pretty well. But these are, they're not meant to hold a great amount of stuff, but they'll still, again, obviously these net bags stretch. They hold a fair bit, but they're kind of just meant for, I'm kind of calling them garden harvest bags. Pattern, which I will put in the description. Super easy. I believe it was free. I kind of went a little rogue on the pattern, just a little bit, a couple times. But I've got it memorized now. It's really easy to memorize if you are somewhere between a beginner to an intermediate crocheter, maybe not super beginner, but it wouldn't take you long to pick up on this. So I finished these two technically in my head, but I need to weave in the end, so technically there's those. Ooh, this whip is really fun. So I have like basically 3 bag designs that I'm kind of sticking with. The net like harvest market bags, and a couple Japanese knot style bags that I'll show you. But I'm kind of creating this other third category of what some people might call showstopper bags, or like I'm calling, I don't know, they're like my mad scientist bags. Like I just get a random idea in my head and I just kind of follow it and we see what happens. It's not a pattern. And these will probably never be patterns because these are going to be so one-off. I'm not going to remember how I did it. I'm not. I just know I'm not. But I'm so excited about this next one. So it's gonna, I don't know if the handle is gonna be like a Japanese knot style handle or if it's gonna have like tote bag straps. We're gonna have to see once she's sewn up. But if you can follow the vision here, we've got all these little granny squares. I'm gonna try to keep it from focusing on my face. We got like some on the sides. I have one more that's gonna go here. And then we're basically gonna, again, this is an experiment, y'all. We're basically gonna cinch her up. So she's gonna be kind of like an oval-y shape. Slightly rounded. I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. More of like a tote bag style, which is why I might do tote bag straps. If I do tote bag straps, then I'm gonna put a zipper on it. If it seems like it will work better with Japanese knot straps, then I won't put a zipper, because when you have the Japanese knot straps, you really don't need one. And I'll show you why, because you don't. It locks that in there. So I'm very excited about this, because y'all look at the colors. Just, and I love this. I love this. This is my favorite crochet stitch of all time. It's called the moss stitch. Might sometimes be called the granite stitch. This is technically the right side of the fabric, but naturally, I like the wrong side of the fabric, which is how you get this texture. So I'm getting it wrong, and I'm fine with that. But this one was very exciting, and look at my stitch marker. Sometimes you find random awesome charms places and you make stitch markers for yourself. And then the only other whip I have right now is this, which is going to be a Japanese knot bag in the style that I'll show you first from the finished objects, the FOs. And it's just going to be a bigger size of the same design. So that's all I have of it right now. And then I'm probably going to do a dark purple around the border and then sew the two sides together and create the straps. I'm thinking dark purple. I have a lot of bright colors right now, and obviously we're in spring going into summer, so kind of bright color season, but you know, let's throw some moodiness in there. Why not? And it's purple and blue. So that's all the whips. Oh, but they're socks. Okay, real quick with the socks. Real quick with the socks. Because I legitimately haven't touched these for a hot minute, a little bit after the market, because it's kind of like my treat to myself. So this is whip number 1. Whip number 2. And 3. I only have 4. That's surprising. Okay. So this is 4. He's a little smooshed, but she'll be alright. 4. And no, that was 3. This is 4. She is very short right now. I have not done much on her. And then there is a 5th one, but it's in my purse. And I love you, but I'm not going to go get my purse right now. It's just my purse sock. It's just like a vanilla straight stock knit sock. And she's not very far. I just finished the ribbing cuff on it and like 5 rows of knitting. That's it. So yeah, so that is whips. Oh, okay, we'll do FOs and then a little bit of studio shop talk. So FOs in bags. We'll do this a little quickly because I don't want this to be too long and I don't want to do a lot of editing. Okay, so first, Japanese knot bags. I'm obsessed with these. See how we have the long side of the moss stitch there. And I did moss stitch on the straps. And the way these work, y'all, is just boop. And then boop. A little bag in there. And it's a decent size. You know, you could fit a sock project in there probably. But like, especially like, you know, your sketchbook set, little sewing kit. You fit a decent amount in here of anything really. So there's that one. This was one that I sold a project bag of, and it was the one that was my absolute favorite, naturally. I'm not gonna lie, I was a teensy bit, because I told myself that if that one didn't sell, then I was going to keep it for myself. But somebody bought it, so you know, it's fine. It's getting a good new home, and if I really want to, I can just make another one if I can find that yarn again. So that's that. Oh, that's that one. This is the other one that I still have in that style. I have more natural neutrals with orange, green. Again, fun like strap thing. This one I think turned out just a titch bigger than the other one, just because I've been knitting and crocheting for a few years now, but I still don't quite understand why different all the same cotton, y'all. Same exact cotton. Different colors, the way they get dyed. Some work up differently than others. I need to tell you. But it just does. So like this one, for whatever reason, the white comes out a little looser. The lighter colors come out a little looser. So she's just a bit bigger. But not like super noticeably much. Because these are basically roughly like 14 by 14 squares, and then with the handle goes to like roughly 18 inches top to bottom. That is those. The other style of Japanese knot bag is this guy. He's a square bottom. Little puff stitch design. Same concept. Handles. This one's definitely more of like a bucket bag kind of thing, but roughly the same size as the other ones. And I have one other pink one of these. That's kind of buried in there. And yeah, the two other bags. This one I'm probably not going to do again. I'm not going to lie, unless people really like it. If I do, I like it. It's pretty. I didn't thoroughly enjoy making it, which is why I say unless it's a hit, I probably won't make it again. It's very cute. I love the texture of these stitches. And like overall, it wasn't hard or complicated to make. Just something about it that got and also I kind of, and this might be why it got irritating, because I kind of ran out of yarn for the handles. So this is why they kind of got the Japanese knot bag treatment, because I didn't have anything that was really going to work. And I'm like, the texture of this yarn, which is the same as on these bags, is very different from the other ones. This is a cotton acrylic blend. I want to say it's 60 cotton, 40 acrylic. So it's softer, but you can't really pair the other kind of cotton with this because it's not gonna fabric right. You know what I mean? So I probably won't make it again, but it is pretty, and I do hope somebody likes it and it gets a good home. It is cute. This was my other Mad Scientist bag, and I freaking love it. It's gonna take someone real particular who's gonna like it enough as much as I do. Because I'm not gonna lie, it's a little bit of a weird shape, but it's what spoke to me. I mean, woo, okay, this is totally gonna zone in my face. All right, let's do this one. Woo. Like I said, funky shape, but I love how this turned out. It's not lined. I'm just really not doing lining on these. They're not really meant to be that kind of bag. But you know, again, the stitches are very tight. Your stuff would be secure in here. If you have anything super teeny tiny, you're gonna want it in a little pouchy thing anyway. But I did put a zipper on this one. My first time hand sewing a hidden zipper, and it went incredibly well. It was actually quite enjoyable by the end of it. So I'm not going to be afraid to put zippers on anything, I'll tell you that much. And this handle was just, I needed a handle, and I'm like, I don't know, man. And it just kind of turned out how it turned out, but I love how it turned out. Because like the way I started it and then went around the other side, it created this awesome like bumpy ridge thing on the top. You can see that. I love it. It gives it a really cool texture. So again, it's going to take a special person to fall in love with this girl, but someone will. I have faith. And if no one does, in a certain amount of time, which I have not determined in my head yet, then she can be mine. And oh, one mesh bag lip that I finished recently-ish that I'm obsessed with this color. Guys, look at this. Look at this color. Is that not like, I forget what the name of it is. It's something to do with ocean water or something, but is that not like a freaking ocean sunset to you? Like, it's, I love it so much. Anyway, I digress. So that has been my bag of those. Other things I have finished, you know, I finished the zines that I mentioned earlier. Oh no, I did technically finish an illustration. I finished the stand microphone, like the, you know, the old Rat Pack days, like Full Metal stand with the big metal microphone thing. Flat, I will put a picture. I'm terrible at describing things sometimes. I did finish that. And I started progress on the gramophone and boombox for the Sounds of the Soul collection. I think I will wait to tell y'all what those new illustrations will be. I think that will be till next time. Partially because they're still kind of solidifying my mind, and then I might be able to describe them better. But other than working on the illustrations, stuff I'm doing for the shop, for the studio, I had another mad scientist idea the other day of creating thumbnail sketchbooks. If you don't know what the whole thumbnail concept is for sketching, it's basically where you're creating like a 4x4 grid, or sorry, no, 2x2, 4 square 2x2 grid, and the idea is you take each of the 4 little squares and just do super rough, super basic, slap it on there sketch of like 4 different versions of the idea in your head. And you use that process to narrow down the elements of it that you like okay, no, this is what I actually like, this is, help you narrow down where you want the illustration to go. And then on the next page, have it open. This is the squares. The next page would be to actually do the first rough sketch of the full of the decided illustration before you go into your medium or you go digital or whatever. And I made a prototype of this, and I'm gonna test it out this week. I'm pretty excited about it. I think it's gonna be really fun to use. So I'm gonna test it out for a little bit, and it may or may not end up in the shop or at markets. We'll see. I'm trying not to overwhelm myself or y'all with products either, because like I said, I like a lot of things. It's just a lot going on up here. But I'm at least gonna try that out for myself. And see if it's like proof of concept. Is it really helpful, kind of a thing? And my next market is Saturday, June 13th in the Oakwood Plaza. Hosted by the 720 Market. I think it's one of their side street markets, technically. I've never done that one, but I know it's extremely well attended. So, I'm pretty hopeful. I'm also going to try. This is why I think only one of the new illustration collections is probably actually going to happen, because what I would like to do too is do some kind of Glen Oak school themed illustration, something or other, that could either be a a pin magnet painting kit or a wall thingy or something. I don't know. Yeah, there's a lot of things that I want to try to do for that one. And they're not all going to happen, and that's okay. It's okay. They'll eventually happen. But I'm still very hopeful that that's going to be. I don't know. Last but not least, things I have been reading and watching. I started reading, listening to, whatever, The Enchanted Greenhouse by author's name that I don't remember right now, but editing Danny will put it somewhere. This is the person who also wrote Jesus, The Spell Shop. Oh my gosh, this is what happens by the end of the day, guys. I'm telling you. It's rough. Okay, so she wrote The Spell Shop, which, if you have not heard of The Spell Shop, you have not lived. You have not. You need to read it. It's adorable. It is whimsical. It's fantasy. It's magic. It's cozy. There's a sentient spider plant, for Pete's sake, which is the immediate thing that drew me in. I would love to have my own sentient spider plant. That would be amazing. That would be, well, she'd actually probably very happy, but the spider plant wouldn't be. But she wrote that. This is her second book. I'm not entirely sure how it lines up yet. It's either happening at the same time as the other story, or maybe a titch after. I'm not 100% sure. But only I want to say I'm 5 or 6 chapters so far. But it's just as good. Her writing it's so engrossing. And she keeps the cozy element with still a fair amount of tension and, kind of suspense, but low stakes suspense. It's not, it's not going to be worrisome or anything. So I've been reading that. I've been watching a lot of Sims 4 Let's Plays. Not gonna lie. I cannot get my computer to run it to save my life, so I'm watching other people play it to get my Sims fix. Which, not so much The Sims, but EA as a gaming company is problematic at the moment because of their buyout that may or may not be happening. But I'm trying not to take it out on The Sims. But yeah, I've been watching a lot of that. What we have been watching, my partner and I, we've been watching a lot of anime. We finished My Hero Academia, which, yes, we are light years behind on that, I realize. But we finished that. It was so good. Honestly, we could rewatch it right now and I'd be happy. We rewatched One Punch Man for the, I don't know how many at the time. And as we do, we've been watching a lot of YouTube. We watch a lot of makers, a lot of science educators we watch. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Until next time, if you want to see more from me, I am most active on Instagram. I am trying to get more active again on Substack with posting on blog and uploading more poetry. I'll have links in the description for the patterns that I used to make these bags, any of the books I referenced, creators I talked about, all that stuff in the description, as well as for my Etsy shop pattern website if any of that tripped your trigger. But until next time, guys, I hope you have a great day, night, whatever, wherever you're at. And don't forget to create some